Hello, this is Podcasting in 3 Easy Steps with me, Juliana.
And me, Suzi. We've spent years creating award-winning podcasts, and now we want to share what we've learned with you to help you get your podcast out of your head and into the ears of your audience.
In each short episode, we'll give you 3 simple steps to create and market an awesome podcast that your listeners will enjoy.
We're passionate about podcasting and the power it has to connect with your clients and community and transform your business. Hi, it's Suzi and welcome to this episode of Podcasting in 3 Easy Steps. And today I want to chat to you about entering your podcast for an award. There are loads of reasons why entering your podcast for an award is a great idea, and I'm going to just talk you through a few of them today. Check out our episode next week when I'll be giving you 3 tips to getting your podcast award great. So there seems to be a few awards open at the moment. The British Podcast Awards are now shut, but we have the Independent Podcast Awards. They are open until the 14th of July, and the International Women's Podcast Awards have just opened for entries. So why might you want to enter your podcast for an award? Well, here are 3 reasons why I think it's a great idea to enter your podcast. So number 1 is the recognition and prestige. Of course, we all want to think our podcast wins an award for being amazing, but actually winning an award and even being nominated brings some recognition to the hard work that goes into creating a podcast. We all know how hard it can be, so how lovely to get some kind of recognition for it. You know, awards are seen as a mark of excellence, so they are boosting your credibility and standing within your community. And of course, if you can then use that to your advantage and share it on your marketing, you know, that you've been a nominee or an award winner, then that's brilliant, isn't it? It just verifies that your podcast is worth giving the time to and listening to. Number 2 is the increased visibility it gives you. It exposes your work and your product and your business to other people. The awards generate coverage and social media coverage and public attention. So people will see you and see your podcast and they might just think it's for them. So reaching that wider audience and attracting eventually new customers to your business and your brand is always a good idea. Again, it links into the marketing, so you can use the awards to promote yourself and your podcast too. And the 3rd reason why I think it's a brilliant idea to enter your podcast for an award is the benchmarking and feedback. So the process of entering your podcast for an award makes you sit down, think about your podcast, think about how it's working, think about how it's addressing issues for your listener and helping them. It also kind of benchmarks you against other podcasts that are creating in your area. It makes you think about how you're addressing all those needs of your listener. Actually sitting down and thinking about your podcast, you know, we don't always get a chance to do that and just evaluate what your podcast is doing. So I think that's always a real positive. Plus, receiving feedback, judges or experts will provide you with an insight, could help you develop your podcast more and, you know, find those areas that need improvement or need some work on. So it's always a good idea to do this. It can be a really time-consuming process to create an awards entry, but you know, I think it is really worth it. You can always get help to do it as well, but always make sure whatever you do, you read through your entry a number of times and listen to your audio. Does it make sense? Ask yourself that, because if it's not making sense to you and you know your podcast inside out, it's not going to make sense to a judge who's maybe come across it for the first time. There are loads of other reasons why it's brilliant to enter your podcast for an award. I'm just going to reel off a couple more. Networking opportunities, whether it be at the awards ceremony or the events, it brings together influential people from loads of different industries. So it's a brilliant opportunity to network. Having an award, you know, does set you aside from other people. So that's always brilliant. And talking about that lots is really great. It gives that kind of verification for your podcast that it is good. It's won an award to show it's good. I mentioned the benchmarking and feedback, but actually that personal development that you get from doing that by reflecting on your podcast, preparing the award submission. It all takes time, but actually it develops you as a podcaster because it's really making you realise your strengths and weaknesses as a podcaster and how your podcast provides for other people. It helps you to refine your kind of pitch as well for your podcast. So the more that you're writing about it, the more that you're entering into awards and pulling those submissions together, the more that we do these things, the better it is and the better we get at it. So I hope if you're thinking about entering for an award this year, just make sure you get some support to read through your entries, to listen to your audio. Ask yourself, does it make sense what you read through and what you're listening to? In the next episode of Podcasting in 3 Easy Steps, I will be sharing 3 things I think are crucial to putting together a brilliant award entry. So I hope you found today's episode useful. Please hit subscribe so you don't miss a future episode. And please leave us a review. It really helps other people to find us. And 5 stars, please, on Apple if you can. Let me know if you're going to enter your podcast for any awards. And I'm always on the lookout to listen to new podcasts. So please find us on Instagram. I'm Suzi at story_publishing on Instagram. So yeah, say hi. Thanks for listening. Bye.